Greetings, beloveds. This is Amy Caryn Johnson, the Earth Channel, here with you today with the first of a new series about new moons. So in this first video, I will be walking you through a process by which to create intentions for yourself to hold, especially as we come up to the next new moon as I'm making this video, which will be on April 1st, at least in my time zone. Check it out for yourself. And I am just committing at this point to doing one of these for each new moon. And I may do other videos in between, but I don't know right now. I'm not necessarily committing to that. Only these sort of once a month videos at this time. I have some other things I want to direct my attention to. And so to make sure that you don't miss them, especially since they won't be coming quite as regularly as they used to, be sure to not only subscribe, but when you click on the little bell button to be notified when new videos come out, you may want to click all. That will make sure that you are notified anytime a video comes out, as opposed to personalized, which may or may not tell you when a new video comes out. If I, in the future, begin to make more videos and it becomes too much, you can always notch it down to none or personalized or whatever seems best for you at that time. So I will first explain, before I get into the message from Gaia, that this new moon is in gate 21, and according to my system of Vedic human design, it is also within the nakshatra of Revati. Revati is one of the nakshatras in the constellation of Pisces, and I may try to share with you a snapshot of the night sky. Since we're a week ahead as I'm making this video, the snapshot will not show you exactly the night sky at the time of the new moon, but it will show you that the sun, if you're following Western astrology and tropical zodiac, which you probably, if you're not very familiar with astrology, you may not even know those descriptors, but the most popular astrology in Western society, culture, uses the tropical zodiac, which is actually a little bit behind from where the stars actually are. So you may be thinking that the sun is already in Aries. Well, I probably will get this snapshot for you. The sun is actually currently in the constellation of Pisces, and it will continue to be through next week and a bit longer after that as well. So this new moon will not only, of course, have the sun and the moon together, as with all new moons, but also Mercury will be in the 21st gate as well, in the same place. It'll be just slightly behind still. And then in a day or two after the new moon, we will have the superior conjunction of Mercury. And that can mean different things depending on how much you know about astrology, which philosophies you subscribe to. Some will say that when Mercury is that close to the sun, that it is combust. However, with these planets that are always closer to the sun, Mercury, Venus, of course the Earth, and even the moon, I would say, I would not call them combust when they are that close to the sun, just because they're always they're always pretty close to the sun. The Mercury never gets farther than, I think, 30 degrees away or so, somewhere around there. And I believe Venus gets no more than 45 degrees away from the sun. And so these conjunctions, both inferior and superior meaning that Mercury is catching up and passing the sun, inferior is when it's either beginning to station retrograde or actually going retrograde relative to the Earth, of course. And so, since these happen so often, I don't think that combustion applies so much for those particular bodies. They just have a relationship with the sun naturally, sort of that way. And Venus being either the morning star or the evening star based on where it is relative to the sun, gives you some idea of how close it pretty much always is. So without getting any further into that at this time, Revati being in Pisces, it is the last nakshatra, as well as Pisces, of course, being the last sign of the zodiac. There are 27 nakshatras. They're sometimes called the moon signs because the moon goes through approximately one of these nakshatras a day. Not exactly. It varies a little bit still. But Pisces is the natural 12th sign, and Revati is the last nakshatra of all of them before we go into Aries. And then the first nakshatra in Aries is Ashwini. So we're, in a way, with this first full moon, or excuse me, new moon that I'm covering, coming full circle already. Aries is the natural first sign. Especially in Vedic astrology, it stands for our purpose in life, our dharma. It's sort of got that fire, that Mars energy of what we are here to do. Whereas Revati is almost completely opposite. It's the ending, the moksha, the liberation, what we are hopefully here to have already accomplished by that time. And of course, these are cycles within cycles, so it's not necessarily the end of life, it's just the end of a cycle, of which we will go through many in our lifetimes. And so it's just a time to reflect on what we have accomplished. And so when we're looking at this relative to the moon cycles, new moon and full moon and all of that, we are currently, as I make this video, in the waning phase of the moon, going towards gibbous. So I think we're approximately in the waning crescent. Did I say gibbous? I shouldn't have said gibbous. Waning crescent. And so we've passed, obviously, the full moon, which happened last week. And we've sort of seen the culmination of whatever it was, either consciously or unconsciously, intending at the last new moon. And so now is the time to notice the contrast of how much of that did you want and do you still want versus how much of it do you not want, did you not want ever, maybe, and maybe do you no longer want for the future. Maybe you want something a little bit different, and now you know. So use that contrast to get even clearer this time around, and you'll have another opportunity next month about what you do want now and in the near future. That is the intention you will be setting for this new moon. And it's always helpful to work with both the earth as well as the stars and the heavenly bodies, especially with this cycle of Revati. Revati is about returning to nature. And so I believe that Gaia will be speaking about this. She's sort of been whispering to me about it already. It's a time to recognize how much you have been allowing your path to be supported by Mother Earth, and maybe how much you have not been allowing it to. How much has it been going a little bit crosswise or in conflict, perhaps, with Mother Earth and her rhythms. you will be even more supported, and your intentions will be enhanced the more that you work with Mother Earth, whatever they might be. Okay, so that's what I feel like this new moon in Revati has to help us with, tell us, and how it can even more amplify any intentions that we might have for this new moon. Okay, before I get into channeling Mother Earth, Gaia, I have a poem for you. What is it that you seek, and what shall it inspire? Are you certain nothing else will do the same? Find the feeling and speak it. Let its opposite expire. Stoke the contrast, give it fuel like a flame. Now I will bring in Mother Earth, Gaia. Take a few deep breaths and close my eyes. Feel free to join me if you would like. Hello, this is Gaia. We thank you for joining us for this new moon message. We invite you to, as Amy encouraged in her poem, which we helped to write, think about what it is that you have been manifesting lately. What has your reality been lately? What about it are you grateful for? And what about it are you ready to let go of? And perhaps, what new things are you wanting to incorporate into your reality? Then think of why it is that you would like to incorporate those things. What is the feeling that you believe they will give you? Is it peace? Is it health? Is it abundance? Is it joy? Playfulness? Satisfaction? Success? Excitement? Prestige? Freedom? Relief? Whatever it is that you are seeking to feel, focus on that. And then see how that feeling can be supported and nourished by us, by the earth. We are more than soil. We are more than nature. We are more than simply physical reality. We are energy. We are ether. We are light. We are love. And we are many different things and different possibilities within both the physical and non-physical realms. Whatever environment you find yourself in now or at the time of the new moon has a certain memory to it and a certain momentum to it. It is made up of its history, the people who have lived there in the past, as well as the creatures, animals, plants, all of the living beings that have resided there. Even the weather systems to a degree. And while all of these things can be changed, they will support you better if you use the momentum that is already there. It is a bit like improvisation. You look at the patterns and the rhythms that are there, and you say, yes, and I would like to add this. Yes, and can we do that with this? For example, Amy lives in an area that she grew up near the general region she has spent most of her life around or near. And so she is familiar with these patterns, the life that grows and lives in this area, as well as some of the weather patterns. She has noticed some changes, and sometimes it does seem as though some of the changes are coming because of people who move to this area and expect and wish for the climate to be more like where they came from. To not snow so much, to not rain so much, to be warmer. And yet Amy sees that these changes are not always for the better. It can be exceedingly dry without that moisture, even more so than it was before. And so one of her intentions for this new moon is for as much snow to fall as well as rain, any kind of moisture, as would typically come at this time of year, if not maybe a little more. And she finds a way to be pleased with her environment even before that comes. And then when it does come, she appreciates it greatly and celebrates it. She even encourages others to not dread it so much as sometimes it seems they do, but rather to expect it as part of the natural pattern for this area. And then she opens herself as well to the possibilities for this to come in many different ways. For there to be ample water from the earth as well as from the sky. This is a possibility. For there to be more moisture in the air, for example. And when the snow or the rain or any other kind of moisture comes, she focuses on that feeling of abundance, feeling of being nourished, being soothed. And she finds all the ways that she can to feel that feeling no matter what, regardless of the conditions. And so we invite you to explore the ways that those feelings you wish to feel can work with whatever it is that is the pattern where you live, that has been the pattern, and how it can be perhaps enhanced, but maximized for the highest good of yourself, other people, and all the creatures that live in your area. This new moon in Revati is especially perfect for coming back in touch with nature, for the ways that your purpose and our purpose, the purpose of the earth, can indeed be in harmony. Can support each other, and can create a beautiful world. We thank you so much for joining us. Namaste, beloveds. I hope you enjoyed that. Getting a little moisture in my eyes. I guess that's another way to achieve my intention. I did not make a video last week. I don't know how many of you will have noticed that, but I did not feel called to make a video last week. I felt like I really needed to just take 1 week without doing that and get back in touch with the reason I do these and what will be best for these videos moving forward. And I feel like I did that. So that's why I'm creating this series for new moons. I will try to make these videos ahead of the new moons so that you're able to prepare and really hone in on your best intention whenever that new moon occurs. Like I said, please subscribe and get notifications with the little bell button to be notified when the new videos come out. Select all. And please like. I really do appreciate and feel supported by you when you hit that like button. It really does help. So I wish you all the happiest of new moons in Revati, and I will see you again before the next new moon. Namaste. Oh, and I have one last piece of the poem for you. Listen to the rhythm of this sphere. Let it guide you on a path you will hold dear.